All right, I believe we're recording. So, bienvenidos a Nam. I want to thank everybody who comes to the New Rich New Energy podcast. This is episode number 7, I believe. But I have an amazing guest, an amazing brother, who's going to share his journey and his wisdom and his piece to this understanding that we're all trying to achieve in this ascension. Very influent when it comes to sports. He's a Neoplatonic sports teacher, and I'm just so blessed to have him on here because I just came across him through a connection on a podcast with another brother that we follow, and some of the things that he was saying, you guys, it was just mind blowing, and it's just something that needs to be heard, and I'm just thankful for him to have here, and I just want to welcome, what not now, Sebastian, bienvenidos. So we'll kind of get right into it. I think you're muted.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're muted. Yeah, so welcome, brother.
thank you, man.
No, appreciate you. Thank you for coming. And yeah, we'll kind of get right into it like I do on my podcast. If you want to, first of all, like kind of share who you are, kind of where you come from, and we'll kind of get into the questions that I want to ask here, and we'll just talk about this amazing. To me, it was fascinating the way you're able to bring sports and yoga and the body and syncretism all together. So without further ado, brother, go ahead.
All right, so how is everybody doing? I'm apologizing about some weed here, but let's proceed. Yeah, like I was talking to Rafael prior, we had already half an hour of conversation that was on the verge of becoming pretty deep. But yeah, we started talking sometimes about myself, about me. Basically, I'm a yoga instructor. I'm a hit trainer instructor and a tennis instructor. And yeah, so these are the sports that I'm teaching basically, and they involve, for instance, hit training involves footwork. Tennis, I teach beginners, intermediate level. Basically, it's fun to work with balls and rackets. Red balls for kids, they're bigger, and you can do many drills with it. So it's quite an amazing sport when it comes about implementing your own creativity when you know about syncretism. Because with a ball, what you can do, you see the trajectory of the sun wave, of the sine wave, through the bounce. Because there are ways in tennis that you learn through the process of topspin. What is topspin? Tennis is a rotational sport, so by applying rotation, thoracic rotation, and striking a ball on time, and then rolling your wrist after with a follow through after the contact, that means you make the ball spin. Yeah, and so are we as human beings. We can spin in our own axis, which is our spinal column or our vertebra. It's like an axis. Yeah, we have an axis here. If we cut ourselves in half, it's symmetric. So basically the spine is our center. And when we spin in that axis, is the same like in tennis. You use rotation, body rotation, and spin in the ball. So when you see the trajectory of the ball, it has a height, it has a speed, it has angles as well. And these elements are a fact that when you make the ball spin, it bounces on the ground, and then you have a hyperbola, for instance. Same path as like the sun, and the same way as our body moves. It's a sine wave. Toroidal field, you would call it, by applying footwork techniques. That's what I specialize in. I specialize in many animalistic type of movements. That's besides tennis. I do that as a pastime because I keep active all day long, doing things with my own body, experimenting with my own body, what to where can I go, what can I reach? So as a Capricorn, I think this builds up in many aspects. I really see this Saturnal feature in this frequency of Capricorn, and yeah. So basically, these techniques of sports with tennis and hit training and athleticism and yoga and Pilates and a little suspension work and box and skydiving and many other sports I've done, golf. I mean, this science applies to basically any sport there is, or any movement you do during the day, or just the way you drive your car also applies in it, in syncretism, in everything. I call these Neoplatonic sports, basically because they are ancient. These are ancient sports that have many elements of kung fu or martial arts and tai chi and other old ancient forms of moving your body. Um, the Buddhists, for instance, or the Taoists and the yogis, it's all in their poses. For instance, a goddess pose or a warrior one or a warrior two is the same stance that you would use in tennis, for instance. Yeah. So applying or connecting your feet to the ground and being grounded, I started observing this through what Santos has said and many other scholars, to apply this in sports and see if it's synced with the sun and with the path of the sun and the planets and astrology. And yes, like Santos said once, or somebody mentioned, that old kings and generals, they build up their armies according to the sun sign of the person and the moon sign. Say the Scorpions were up front because they were the most aggressive ones. The Gemini were the archers, and the Sagittarians also because of their features. Gemini because of the hands.
The horse and bow.
And the horse and bow, the Sagittarians, and then you have the wise Aquarians that probably looked into the future or predicted the future, and then you had the astrologers also there. But they combined they build up armies according to sun signs. So this made click with me in exploring what a Capricorn can do and what his features are. How can I apply this? Like Capricorn rules the knees, for instance. It rules other ailments of the body that you see that they're true, that you sometimes suffer from the knees. But then I hacked the fact that, okay, if we suffer from knees, how can I reverse that? And you reverse it with yoga techniques, with breathing techniques, with stretching techniques, with meditation, with listening to your body, and nutrition. Sleep, I don't know if it's a scam that you have to sleep 8 hours or not. I mean, the way I acquired this knowledge was also by being in my garage. So you remember Metallica's album Garage Days, or you hear these people that they invent things because it came out of their garage. So yeah, wizard time from 2 to 4. That's where I was awake, reading a little bit of a tennis book, where there were some instructions about stances and how to hit the ball properly, like the pros. It's not the same just to grab a racket and go out there and hit some balls. But the way I instruct people in tennis is that the ball bounce has a beat. It's auditive, it's visual, it's hand-eye coordination movements and angles that are aligned to or given to you if you understand uh, about the body positions or athletic stances. Say as being a Capricorn, I suffered a lot about my knees in tennis. I had the tennis leg. I had problems with my knee, and it was bad. It was really bad. And I took an X-ray, and there was nothing in the X-ray, but I had some issues with my knees they were stiff. Also, my sacrum was stiff. My bones were like insanely weak, even though I sported a lot. So I decided to combine weightlifting, suspension training, yoga, Pilates work, boxing with a punch bag, HIIT training with this agility grid, and then a little bit of sprinting and ball control with football, like doing shuffles and I don't know. I've done over 1,000 workouts also from watching others do it. But I noticed that when you switch into a lifestyle that you change your nutrition and you change habits like avoiding alcohol or trying to get away from it and go into transition to become more aware, that gives body awareness right away. It's like a cleanse, and this opens up portals in order to understand syncretism with sports. Like
Yeah, so, yes,
as a tennis coach, I was all the time outdoors, and being outdoors, I was always facing south. So this helped me to follow the path that every 2 hours, the frequency changes. Say from 6 to 8 is Aries, from 8 to 10 is Taurus, from 10 to 12 you have Gemini. So that was the advantage, that I got the opportunity to instruct tennis. Tennis was a sport that I hated the most during my childhood and teenage years. So I never learned to hit a ball properly until garage days. That's when I'm.
don't know what happened to Sebastian, but let me see if I can bring him back in. I think he got kicked off. Just give me 1 second, you guys. Yeah, this was getting interesting, and that's the thing. Myself, growing up playing sports, football, basketball, boxing, myself also being a Capricorn like him, there's going to be issues in the knees, there's going to be issues in the skeletal, you know what I mean? And I always had issues with my left knee. I sprained my ankle, my right ankle specifically, about 6 or 7 times. And, when you really start understanding the zodiac, when you understand the Taurus field and the hyperbola and the zodiacs and the energies and how everything works within a sine wave, that's the question I was going to ask him is when it comes to sports, is it that I guess that understanding that some people are just built for it or some people are not, like some people are just naturally gifted, or is this something that you can learn just learning the energies of the sine wave? So let me see if I can bring him back in. And by the way, you guys, he's actually in Albania. Oh, here he is right here. Cool, cool, cool. He's coming back in. So he might be having some camera issues. But yeah, he's from Albania and we got him back in, which is a good thing. Welcome back. Welcome back. Yeah.
Sorry, man. I forgot to plug the cable in, so the battery. I was not aware of the battery level, and it
Good
just.
job. Yeah, you're fine. I wanted to ask you because you're going down, they elaborate on the tennis. Um, that's what I was just telling everybody watching is when it comes to sports, there's like this notion where, because I played sports too, basketball, football, boxing. I had problems with my knee, predominantly with my right ankle. I used to sprain my right ankle all the time. I didn't understand it. Once you start understanding the sine wave, your toroidal field, your hyperbola, the sine wave, how things work with energy, with our zodiac intelligences, do you think people are naturally gifted for sports? Do they have an edge, or if this is something that they can learn once they understand energy? You know,
Um, yeah, that's a nice question, actually. I love that question. I would say that we are like X-Men. Every single birth chart are out there, or blueprint of a birth chart, has its qualities and its deficiencies. Meaning each sun sign has definitely an art and a drive for sport, but the fact that we have been poisoned and we have been fooled with foods that basically makes our body not respond to a level of ascension. That means during our childhood, our parents didn't know, they fed us whatever, and they didn't know either. So it's been a cycle, and many people out there um, have this probably state where they don't believe in themselves, but it's because of the food, because the brain fogs, and you just cannot be yourself. You have thoughts and issues and stress, and all this on top just kind of stiffens you up. On top, gluten, for instance, wheat products or packaged goods, things you find in the death market, not the supermarket, because it's really death market because they only sell dead products, because it's packaged or it's processed or it's been industrialized. It's basically, it doesn't have an energy, and it has an energy of death. That means this energy that we eat, we don't thrive because we don't know our true potential according to our sun sign. And yeah, so it's a question of, like, say Capricorns are good in I would say, sorry, the pump went off. It will be on again. There you go.
yeah, because that's
It has a rhythm. I know exactly when it stops. So
yeah,
garage days.
playing sports, like you see a lot of people like they say you gotta have the right genetics for a right sport. You know what I mean? Is it really that, or is it that they know the science behind what they're doing when it comes to the sport? You know what I mean? Like, is it all
Sorry, I didn't
genetic?
get the first part. Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, so it was the question was like in the sports realm, everybody's like, okay, genetically this guy was made for football or this guy was made for boxing. It's genetics. Is it really
Yeah,
genetics, or is it really they understand the science behind the sport that makes them
it's
excel?
it's not genetics. It's just believe in yourself, that and have a vision where you want to be in 3 years. Have a lifetime value proposition. That means, what do you want to apport to the world, or what do you want to do? What value do you want to bring into people? So the value I would give to people is like, okay, consider cutting off dead products that are packaged because they contain too many artificial uh, products and ingredients that aren't just gonna help you thrive.
They're just chemicals.
Yeah, so this is one of the reasons that kids stiffen up, because their elbows are jammed here. And normally in tennis, what you need to have are loose arms, like spaghetti arms, I call it, because you need to swing, of course. So these are separated limbs from our body, the arms. Yeah, you have a torso, you have the heaviest limb of your body, which is the head, which stores up a lot of energy, of course, it's heavy. But basically rotation means I'm rotating here, but I'm still looking at you, and the angle here of my chest is 45 degrees. That means when I'm doing this, I am storing already energy in my abdomen, because it's like a stretch. You're creating a pre-stretch here because it's feeling tight, the core now. See, while here I'm just open, I'm just facing you. If I do another halfway turn and I'm still looking at you, that means here I'm ready to swing. And it's the same way in box. It's the same way in hockey. It's the same thing. If you're open and you want to hit, yeah, you need to move your feet into a special stance, like in martial arts, in order to hit or to throw a football or to kick a football or a soccer ball or throw a hoop in basketball or hit a puck in hockey or skydive. You always need the 45 angle position with a wide open stance, like a horse stance or a horse flow in yoga. So the first question, which was important, was about the sports and the features in people. We are like, in our toroidal field, we can do anything. We can just do anything we want in life. If you have a picture of yourself of where you want to be, and if you also look at the pros, you got to be envisioning how they move and why do they move in these ways. It's because they know the athletic stance and the right positioning of their bodies in order to have a timing to get to any ball or to strike a ball or to hit a punch. And it's all coming up from the ground up. That means you ground your feet, like you connect the four corners of your feet. In certain sports, for certain positions, when you squat, the weight should be on your heels. But say when you jump over a hurdle, your knees should be pressed together, feet should be together, but your feet, which is another separation of your body, yeah, which is limbs, because the torso is a part of limb. It's the torso here. Yeah, you're like the cross. But if you cut the waist down, it's your lower body. If your lower body is stacked in a wide stance and you do a rotation, you have more power than when you're too upright with the feet together. So you need to sink low and rotate like this. When you are here, there's already stored energy in my core, which is the diaphragma and below, and you feel that energy starting to move like this. But in order to feel it, you need to change your diet and you need to follow certain habits that I can definitely share in another time, because it really it is value for me, because it's been my journey of how my body has changed many ways, from being chubby to it's like cycles. It's like the sine wave. Your body goes through many phases. There are phases of the moon where you start eating a lot and you all of a sudden start to switch your habits, and then when the moon wanes, you're not too hungry, then you start decreasing these habits and become more body aware. So you can play with these energies of the moon cycle.
Well, let's do this because I think that's very important as well.
Man, why isn't it not loud?
Can you hear me?
I hear you, but it's like
No.
far or something.
Yeah, I'm right here in the microphone. Mic check.
Yeah,
Mic check.
here now.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
No, let's kind of segue. Let's dig into that, because to me that's important as well. Because as much as the sports aspect of it, whatever sport you're playing, whatever you're trying to achieve, to whatever goal it is in that sport, it's really the behind the scenes, like you're saying, is your diet, your protocols,
I mean,
things that you're doing. So kind of explain some of the things to the people who are watching, like things that have helped you in your journey, that you've come to understand, that you've come to experiments with, and things that you're doing now that gives you that correct comprehension to being at that top level of athleticism. You know what I mean? Because that's really the important thing, is what you're doing to prepare. So
well, the thing is, you can become like these pros of what you see on TV when you know the right techniques of moving with your body, to become body aware first, because um, Platon said, know thyself. I don't know if it's Platon or Hippocrates or Socrates.
Socrates. Mhm.
Socrates, he said it, know thyself. So looking into this know thyself, it has a lot of power in it. So yeah, it's right. Know thyself, and let medicine be thy food and food be thy medicine. And it makes sense when you start to transition and start to cut off certain foods that your body tells you you're feeling not well after eating them. And when you start feeling really things that are going weird and you're starting to feel some cramps up your ass or things like that, which I had after eating so much of anything. It just made me I was stiff, and I could not feel my hips. Basically, I could not feel my body. I couldn't feel many things that now I am aware of how to move, how to dance, which before I couldn't know. I didn't know how to dance. I was shy because of bad body positions, bad postures. Um, and it's fixable without medicine, basically. You don't need a doctor or a nutritionist that tells you lies for this. You can do it yourself. One master once told me that when I popped my knee the first time doing a lotus, I wasn't warmed up well enough, and lotus is the most hardest uh, position in yoga for maybe a Capricorn like me, because we suffer from the knees. So
I still
that
work
was
on it.
right on cue. That was synced with syncretism that Saturn rules the bones, and the knees are part of Capricorn, because when you in the image I showed you in Instagram, there's this division. The Tropic of Capricorn obviously are the knees, and the Tropic of Cancer, it's like Cancer rules the chest, so it crosses right here. Da Vinci made this
Peruvian man.
drawing, which is the anatomical position. In yoga, in the books of teacher training, we learn about yoga anatomy, and that's where they also say the same thing. So it's all in cue. That means the yoga anatomy or Da Vinci anatomy or these Neoplatonists, they knew about this already. That's why they were ripped and big and knew how to move, and that's where these sports come from. Basically, that's the trainings they did. They just didn't do weightlifting. This is a whole lifestyle. You have to use weights, of course. You need to strengthen the muscles, because you can not only just go for a run. The muscles need some eccentric, concentric movements to strengthen. You need suspension training. You also can hit to a boxing bag. These are things you can do at home without having an instructor. But how to start, it's a matter of will, of drive, and of envisioning yourself how you want to be. And how come you could never do it? But it's because these negative thoughts that arise in the left hemisphere of your brain, which is left brain um, thinking, because you're overthinking and not doing. Uh, yeah, you cast thy net to the right. That means you throw yourself into your right brain hemisphere when you start changing habits, and then you really feel the ascension process. Anything you want, you'll get it in life. If you want to do good in sports or in arts, the same applies. The body posture and the stance in order to thrive, the middle finger, starting from the ground up, kinetic chain, and that's toroidal. The toroidal field is well marked in your body. When you do the intersections and you know a little bit of yoga anatomy, it's all in it. So Da Vinci, it's the anatomical position where he has this man in many ways, and the legs spread out. So of course, if the legs are spread out, you can squat. And if your arms are like this, you can do jumping jacks. But you need to unlock a lot of secrets within the body. So like what this trainer once told me, this old master that learned this psychogymnastics and psychogymnastics, I would call it. It's old ancient methods of healing your body through respiration and movements, and crazy movements that you would never imagine they would be doing this in the gym. But maybe Arnold Schwarzenegger, he knew about it. Yep. I mean, these guys ripped, and you see it in other sports people. They study the sport, and then they study the science, and they study the body, and it all has to be in sync with the sine wave. How the sun travels, that's how your body travels in sports as well. And to unlock these secrets, it is all depending on the feet, the lymphatic system, the cleansing of the body, the detoxes you need to go through, juice fasts, just by throwing yourself, like cast thy net to the right. That means go and go out from your left brain hemisphere, and like Jesus said to his 12 disciples, cast thy net to the right. That means use your right brain, guys, and start the action. Just don't be lying around there thinking you'll be saved by somebody that's coming from heaven to save you, which is a literature magazine. It's an allegory. That means you need to understand that your body and retaining fluids and things, that's part of the ascension process, plus other techniques like urine therapy, the nutrition, the sports. Of course, it's anything you do, but it's magic. I don't know how to say it, but it's this harvesting of magnetic force that you start to feel the earth, how it goes into your body and starts to move in the core, and then it explodes up in the brain. And it's the snake energy that they call, which is keeping it simple. You don't need medicine to heal your body. If you have sufferings from the knee, like I had, how do you reverse it? Is through breathing and stretching with the same exercise you messed yourself up with in first place. But everything is connected. Like if you have a problem in the knees, you might have also something in the shoulders and also in the neck, all the way into your middle fingers, because it starts from the ankle, from the heel pad up through the IT bands, hip flexors, the sideline right here, and then it travels from the shoulder cuff down forearm into the middle finger, and that's the activation of kind of this Kundalini energy, where you start to feel the ground spinning like a toroidal field.
No, and that's
And
the whole
body, it's
yeah,
basically like you're a magnet, and you start to spin in an axis, and with the force applied when you strike a ball, for instance, in tennis, I do the films not to look at myself, but I love the way I see myself, the way I move, the way I strike balls and all this. There's always a little lift off from the ground, and that's where you suspend for some seconds. It's pretty interesting, because when you think that you can suspend in the air for a couple seconds and strike a ball on time, on the rise and the topspin, which is a sine wave, when the ball in tennis bounces on the ground and spins back up, it becomes a heavy topspin. And how to hit those balls, I mean, if you're a beginner and you don't know much and you think you're going to strike that ball just by holding a racket and being macho, no, it's not that. There has to this science has to be understood in order to produce the effects of the pros, how they strike on time and the timing. It's auditive, it's spinning, it's visual, it's agility, to work with balls, because it's with tennis balls or soccer balls, because it has a sound and it has a rhythm. And once you notice that rhythm and the sound the ball produces and when it rolls on the ground, you know when to strike it, and you have to use stances, like I said before, in order to maximize the effects that it looks so cool, like the pros do on TV.
No, and it's like you were saying about specifically like the horse stance, which is I'm sure you practice, I practice when it comes to some of my yoga. People don't understand, like you're talking about, this Torodo energy that you're feeling, because in that horse stance, you're creating a vortex.
Yeah. Yeah, it's because it's like a sponge that you compress yourself. That means if you're upright, you're standing mountain pose, right? That's like the guards in the changing of the guards in London, and you see them standing like this for hours. Yeah, but if I push him, he tips over
Right.
because he's upright and he's kind of flat-footed. Yeah. So to control this posture, it's breathing, of course, but you can stack yourself up when you activate, uh, when you start doing these guidelines, like Sebi and like what Santos saying and all this. Then it works because it comes automatically. That's where you start to feel your X-Men features in you, and everybody has that. It's just the fact that we cannot see it because we think it's only the guys that train 24/7 that will achieve it. No, it's a process. Yeah, it takes time to know and understand your body, how the hips work, how the hip flexors work, how the spinea works, how your shoulders work, how they should be stacked, and you start to feel it automatically because it is written that it's like ríos de agua viva que fluyen en ti. Está escrito en la Biblia. There's a phrase about it that says it's you feel like an eagle and you'll do things more than me, Jesus said. It's like, yep, he's right. You tap into the energy of your sun sign, look at the problems you have, fix them without medicine, breathing through these psycho-gymnastic exercises. I know they heal. Breathing techniques, they heal the body big time. Stretching also, and simple things that do not require big science or backup behind, as the body is intelligent enough to heal itself. Because through breathing techniques, you create new blood cells, and these flow into the muscle or into the injury you have suffered. Through the breathing and the sync stretching movements, you pump in blood into this part, and you start to oxygenate this area in your body, and it heals. Simple.
No, it's very simple, like you said, because like you keep talking on that, we know your body, we have our mechanism has been created to heal itself.
Yeah.
But they have taught us and, well, indoctrinated most people that you need to look for an outside source, aka
Yeah.
medication, things of that nature. Just like you said, if you understand your body and you understand the different practices, breathing protocols, meditation, you're literally heal your body by yourself, but you have to know your body. So it's
Yeah,
important.
and that's the thing. I mean, I wish everybody would have that time that I had, because it's a blessing to use time for something with purpose. And the best thing I would recommend is start to know yourself in listening to your body and restricting like nourishments, foods, and and pasiones desordenadas, cut the parties a little bit off, and focusing more in these things, syncretism and other everything helps, of course, but this is what I share in my journey. So it's incredible. I never thought I would have been coming this far, and this is just a start. So you reverse, you age less, you 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 just open up new portals to do anything you want in life. But it's the thing is also, if people have a job and you're stuck in the office like I was, doing paperwork, sitting behind the desk, going with customs, going with clients, customers, etc., importing, the business lifestyle, and it's just lifestyle that is false, because you're working for banks, you're working for corporations, you're working for just to have peanuts, just to survive and pay rent and then go on vacation, and this is kind of a fake lifestyle, so a little superficial in a way. And it's in this money that you spend, I mean, it's better to spend time with yourself alone. In If you say meditating, you don't have to go through the books. It's just about closing your eyes, being alone in this place where you just close your eyes and listening to what's in your surroundings, and breathe in through the nose, hold back out through the nose. Yeah, and this is already meditation. This already, doing it for a minute, helps you release brain fog. I have a lot of techniques also for desk detoxification, that people that are in the office and work behind a desk, you can stand up every hour in the hour and do 7 exercises that will take you like 7 minutes, where at least you compose your posture and you align your body again to keep on thriving in what you do in work. Yeah, I don't condemn anyone that works behind an office. For me, it was office work, and in this time I could have been doing sports and absorbing and harvesting this beautiful energy that the sun is giving you daily, because being outdoors is what we have to do in order also to become like this, because the sun rays, they provide you the right information to the right sun sign. Maybe for Capricorns, yeah, it's a frequency. Capricorns like to be outdoors and hanging on trees and being in trouble, of course. Yeah, always getting into trouble, but we always find solutions. But we are people that cannot be locked inside a little room, because Capricorns are builders, and they're heavy boned, and they need to express themselves like Elvis Presley. Capricorn, look at his hips moving. There are in as far as sports, I mean, he's a sports guy because he knows how to dance alone, because he knew this energy, and he knew his sun sign energy, and his bones ruled him, and his body, and his muscles, and his hips, you know. And there are many other Capricorns. I haven't looked up who else could be a good Capricorn sports guy, for instance.
Yeah,
But
yeah, a lot of people, they have a lot of, like you said, knowing your sun sign, but like with the zodiac, a lot of sports people, they're Sagittarius if you're a runner. You know
yeah,
what I mean? A lot of Sagittarians are runners because they rule the hips, you know. As far as like boxing, you have a lot of Aries, Taurus, and even Scorpions because those are the fighters. You
yeah,
know what I mean? So it's not a coincidence, you guys, that the zodiac sign matches up with the sport that they're participating in because that's their sign.
yeah,
You know what I mean? So no, absolutely. Like you got to know your sun sign. You got to know your energies. You got to know your virtues, your
yeah,
values, and like you said, it's a good point that you said is having that vision. You know, a lot of people lack vision. You know, you
Yeah,
don't.
and that vision is like I said, you want to have these X-Men abilities, have the vision, because you're not just a physical body, you're more than that. And man, I was gonna say something really touching, but I just forgot. What was it? Um, yeah, I mean, if you've seen like the movie Matrix, for instance, you start downloading information when you start cleansing your temple automatically. The temple, your body will tell you what to eat and what not to eat. And there are days where you just start fasting and you just don't be hungry, because doing sports don't require food in the stomach. You have to do all this empty stomach, or else it's not going to happen too good. You might end up injuring yourself or having digestional problems. So the body will download that information because it's given for everyone. But yeah, that's like they said, know thyself. So it's simple. It's the simplest thing ever.
No, it
Just
really is. You know,
start to unlearn, and then start to, instead of buying Kellogg's, start buying spelt flakes. Instead of buying boxed pasta, start buying spelt pasta. That's how you start transitioning from like the common stocked foods into maybe paying a buck extra, but getting a little bit more high frequency food, and that come from sources that you might know it's not a corporation. Because I was also a guy that went through this process of looking at every single label before I bought something, and when it didn't resonate with me, I left it and I didn't took it. So that works well when you combine this with the SEBI guidelines, because it's there. So he keeps it simple, but it's a lot of studying to do, because you need to know the herbs, you need to know the foods, and also the hours, and what's alkaline and what's not alkaline, what contains a pit, what doesn't contain a pit, what is eligible for the body and what isn't, because there's a lot of fake foods also out there. And to be vegan, it doesn't mean that it's just kind of like a scam too, because now you have vegan junkies and vegan wannabes, and these vegans are using the wrong food. So you'll end up uh, doing more harm to your body with lots of soy products and things like that than with a SEBI diet. So it's better to transition from vegetarian or from pescatarian or from, you name it, meat eater, lover, anything, to cut the foods, and that your body will start to appreciate it. And same, the animals will also appreciate it, because these are animal spirits. And when you are eating certain animals, you're eating the energy of the animal, the bat soul, and that's animale. What's ani in Hebrew is soul. Male in any language, it's bad. It's a bad soul. Yeah, and bad soul means that in a past life you probably done something wrong and you came back in an animal, or maybe you slaughtered too many animals or something, and you incarnate into this bad soul looking creature that is part of our environment, because they help the ecosystem. So that means we should not be eating them, because then we just disrupt the angels, and the angels go mad. Same when we cross fruits, the angels go insane. That's written in Jewish texts, that when foods are hybrid, the angels are confused. Yeah, that means it's because it's not of its original state.
it
And when you
goes off.
cross things, then you cross a lot of things, DNAs, whatever, and these foods probably don't react well to your body, although your body is used to these foods because you're giving it daily. but it's because it's a habit, and it becomes a habit that you just put food in your mouth without realizing what it is, while hence you start becoming body aware and start downloading this beautiful energy when you cut these foods, and when you release this habit of flesh eating, because it stores bad energy in you. So it'll never make you ascend. You might be strong and this and that, but to feel Mother Earth in your body and the sine wave inside your body, that's a different story. Because if I have the sine wave in me, it's like the Matrix movie. I just download. If I want to go skydiving, download, boom, you go out of the plane, because you start losing these fears of dying, and time, sense of time, it's just gone. You just don't know your age anymore because you feel ageless.
Right. No, and it's like you were saying when it comes to alkaline in your body and processing into the things that are a little bit, we're not even a little bit, but things that are even more helpful for your body to consume, because your brain, your neurons, they want electricity. This is an electronic component. You know what I mean? So if you're eating the right herbs, the right foods, transitioning, you're gonna feel better and you're gonna do better. And so let me ask you this, because on the sports tip, because I know I used to be this way until I had to undo my programming and now learning, what it is for ascension. I used to be one of those people that I was in the gym, always working out, eating 5, 6 meals a day.
Yeah, me
People,
too.
yeah, people
Yeah.
really think that's like what you're supposed to do. If you can kind of share, like, you're not
Yeah,
supposed
I
to
mean,
do
I went
it.
through all the GNC products you
Yeah,
can name. I've done, I did also anabolics, like just pop in some pills that my brother told me, yeah, take them. They'll get you ripped. I was in a member of World's Gym back then, where everybody's going there just to show their butts, and then men looking at me like, oh yeah, I want him. And the showers didn't have a curtain because they all wanted to see your cucumber, whatever. So the environment is poisonous in a gym, when hence you can do things at home without getting these vibes that you find there. And so yeah, GNC products, been there, done that. Whey protein shake, egg weights, egg protein powders, the chicken breasts, the 6 time a day, and then you're stressed if you're doing it right or not. You don't know all these guidelines where you have to measure your food or not measure it. I mean, it takes a lot of time, and it consumes your time, and it stresses you more out than it helps you. Yeah, you can see certain changes when you are on a flesh diet, of course. It can make you strong and this and that and muscular. In the end, if it's good or not, that's for the person to decide. My journey, I mean, I cut off meats due to intestinal problem and hemorrhoidal problem with fissures up my butt. So I felt like a knife was being stabbed up my butt when I was sitting or eating, or I just had to stand up all the time, but because of this itch or fungi I had up my butt that I contracted from God knows what. So the first signal was to stop with this overeating and overthinking and over drinking and lifestyle, because uh, it will give you a disease in the long run. You will start feeling diseased, like not at ease with yourself.
no, just like with everything, like there's an interesting documentary that I saw that it was comparing sports athletes, those who eat meat and then those who are just plant based. And every time when it came to energy, because this is all we're really talking about, you guys, it's everything is energy. They outperformed a meat eater. And even though you have the meat eater over here eating all these meals, taking all these proteins, all these supplements, doing all these protocols, these people were just on a strict plant-based diet, and they always outlasted them when it came to endurance. So it speaks volumes when we're talking about nutrition and the right things that you have to do, and the protocols, because you want to have energy. You want to be able, like, even at our ages, like I feel more alive now than I did when I was young. And I thought I was really living life.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And, even like the gladiators, the movie 300, you see these guys with these physiques that were ripped. It's been proven that those guys were plant-based. So it kind of throws out the window this whole indoctrination that you have to eat meat and you have to do X, Y, and Z, especially when it comes in the realm of like bodybuilding, to get that physique. And it's a total lie. It's a facade, like
Mm.
it's an illusion, and it's really going back to the roots and eating naturally and getting that energy and understanding the signs. And it's simple stuff. Like it's really simple.
Yeah, it's my motto or lemma is keeping it very simple. It means eat less, do more. And that's when you start shifting just by doing this simple thing. Yeah. And bless the food that at least you have on the table with your eyes, because the eyes are the window of the soul. So you just pump in some laser energy into the food with good vibes, and that are already is a cleanse, because it's not only the food that enters into your mouth that poisons you, it's also what comes out from the heart. So we as ascendants, we can eat poison, but it will never harm us, and we don't even would even notice that it
Right.
would kill us. We just thrive, because once the body is electric, then it basically becomes intelligent, and it's like a dog. You start sniffing foods and they don't have a taste. It's all form basically. If you look at it really closely, do a close up, I think the body doesn't even need food, man. To be honest with you,
Um,
it thrives with
with the natural
many other
elements.
practices that I've had the experience that I mean, I don't thrive with much food, and there are days where I'm just not hungry. So it's thrilling, and you still remain lean and well stanced, well stacked, well proportioned, balanced, thanks to the art of yoga and Pilates. And I mean, it's endless to name which sports, but box, for instance, is another way good one, where you ground from the ground up into the punch and start feeling the core and the heaviness of the spin and the rotation of Mother Earth, of this whole entire spectrum that spins. It spins within you as well. You tap, you match that beat, basically. It's like a heartbeat. But that's why the key lies in the feet and in the lymphatic system.
Right.
And then in other ways, not sleeping too much. It's not necessary to sleep 8 hours. It's why is it a rule to sleep 8 hours? I mean, standing 18 hours. I have the proofs in my watch, in my phone, all the data I follow. I do track my steps and all that, just as a means that it's syncretized with what I do, and it depends on the season. That there are seasons where you're active, then you have shifts where you fall and then you come back up, you climb up that mountain, fall again, climb up.
Mhm.
So it's a journey, that it's a battle, that it's you and your body, and that's the hardest thing to maintain alive, that source of water that is endless, because it was written and it's said in the scripts, que son como ríos de agua viva que fluyen dentro de ti. O sea, sí, como las águilas volarán. It means like the eagles will fly. Written in the sacred Bible texts as allegories. Yeah, of course. If you cast your net to the right, and tap into this energy, then you start to undust new things, and the old things were the past, but the new things will be even better. That means, yep, it matches this. Las cosas viejas pasaron y todas son hechas nuevas en Cristo Jesús. Que no sé qué más. Yeah, Christ Jesus within us. Yeah, the crucifixion. That means cast thy net from the left to the right. Ascension process, you know, right ascension process. And that's the third eye opening. That's the chakras starting to unblock themselves, and the nadis that are below the kidneys, all these energetic points are stuck with energies that are traumas from foods that we eat, from thoughts and other buildups. So you need to you got to go reverse in order to spark up and overhaul the body in order to make it function again. Because how I see it is like we have cat and feline agility with our feet. When we jump and stuff, or when we land, it's the exact same way the cat lands. We have that energy, but we don't believe in it because we don't have that we couldn't unlock this magic because of the foods we eat. Simple. And the practices and the system we live in. So Matrix, the movie, you download anything you want and you can do it. So Kung Fu, stance, box, hockey. I mean, I grab any sport you want, you name it. Unbelievable, I would say that to myself. How on earth, from a chubby guy like me, which I have photos also where I was chubby, bloated, acidic, bloated like hell, like why bloated and why stiff? Oh yeah, well, we ate croissants and we had coffee, and then we ate a chocolate, and then we had a little snack in between, and then a sandwich, and then, oh, dinner time, let's eat heavy again. And that's the cycle you start to, the habits you start to have. It's because it's a lunar cycle. Yeah, but it's a matter of, yeah, I don't know how to explain this, but yeah, you unlock many secrets. And it's crazy because it continues on to pour in you this information, this download coming from the ether or the winds that blow. When something goes bad, your body alerts you to, and then there's this vibe of stress according also to the moon phases and where the moon is in which sign its position. Same for sports. There are days or times of the day where the power is amazing. I would say between Taurus hour and Gemini Cancer to Leo, it's impressive how much the body can produce testosterone and break cortisol away from your body, and have this excitement that you want to go on because you can be engaged and go on forever. Like tennis players would hit rallies for 60 shots without being too with effortless power, without much force, and without fatiguing themselves too much. It's because they know the right breathing, and they unlock the secrets of this toroidal field or Faraday box or whatever you want to call it.
No, it's true. It's very true. And it's like you said, keeping it, this whole thing about keeping it simple, it's really what it comes down to. Like with so many protocols, you got to just look at the elements. Like you said, look at Mother Nature. She tells you in her simplicity. You know, you need fire. What do? You go out and you sun gaze. If you need the water element, you know what I mean? You drink water. If you need air, you breathe. Techniques. Mother Nature shows you a simplicity, the things that you have to do for you to,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
and
all the 12 sun signs are within you.
mhm,
So everything can be mixed up together, breathing with fire breathing. These are all yoga techniques, of course. Psychogymnastics, I repeat, is a way of increasing that potential within you and spark up the nadis within your body, all these energetic points. I mean, just also going outside facing south or grounding like everybody does outside in the garden, barefooted, are these are all daily habits you have to create so you get back to the roots and really start to feel Mother Nature back alive in you.
you know, that's what,
Or
yeah.
else it's not going to happen because they don't want you to feel this. Simple.
And you got to take the responsibility to research it and do it. I think that's really that line that people don't want to do. They don't want to take that extra step and research it for themselves. Like you said, with the breathing, you do the pariyama and you do the ujjayi, the male and the female. You know, and you can create that torsion, you can create that energy, that sensation, and
Yeah, I mean, all the info is out there. You can YouTube it or whatever, but it's just that it's there are certain things where you just say, I don't feel it. How is he doing that? And how come I'm not doing it? It's because there are many things that you probably didn't realize you had to cut off from your diet in the first place.
that's where it comes. Yeah, it does. It does. It really does. You know, and that's the thing. Like you start transitioning and having a better diet.
Yeah,
Certain
can you fix your mic real quick? Because it's
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Mic check 1 2.
yeah,
Okay, cool.
there you go.
No, no, but like just I don't want to beat a dead horse on the subject, but it's true. Like you said, it's like it all starts with your diet. Like people want to, you know, you want to work on your mentality and your spirituality, but you can't really have these downloads and position yourself to receive from the ether these downloads if your physicality isn't correct. And I think that's where a lot of people miss it in this arena is that they just want to work on the mental and the mental and the mental. You got to have the Trinity, the mind, body, and the soul. It's written in the Bible. You got to work on your physicality as well and prepare your body for the download. You see what I mean? So that's one thing that I've been working on is, you know, as I continue to enhance my nutrition and understand, you know, Dr. Sebi and alkalinity and things of that nature and protocols is like you're preparing your body to receive because
Yeah,
if you're eating meat, you're not going to receive this piece of information that, you know, the heavens wants to give you.
yeah, it just kind of blocks you.
It does, yeah. It really does.
Yeah,
And I
keeps you
noticed
like in the Scorpio area, which is the last root chakra. So it's you got to start from there up again, and it won't be from one day to another, I can tell you, but it is global though, because the whole frequency is for all of us. It's out there. It's all you have to do is go out there and tap it, and match it and pursue that envisioning of yourself that you're far better than what they tell you. Or I mean, you can do even better than what you think you are. It's like get better every day, yeah. So don't let the day run you. You run your day, yeah. How? Eat less, do more.
I like that. I like that. Let me ask you this because with your knowledge when it comes to sports, Neoplatonic sports and science and yoga, do you offer any lessons? Do you have like a website? Is there any, you know, do you do private teaching? You know, maybe there might be some people watching who might want to reach out to you for like more information or instruction. Do you do any of that or?
Yeah, well, actually, I where I'm living at the moment, I've had a couple Zoom meetings where I do some training for say the Peace Corps, because in the environment I am is like expat environment due to the assignment my wife has in this country, which is Albania, which is a beautiful country and cheap and kid friendly and also nomad friendly still. one of the still last jewels Europe has. But yeah, coming back to the point, I do classes, tennis classes. I teach kids how to control their bodies, how to become more body aware. And during my class, it's very interactive with drills that you not only use a racket, you use balls, you can use soccer balls and many other ways. So I'm geared up with this. Today, for instance, I taught a girl from Romania. Ilinka is her name, and she's a beginner. She's probably now 7 years old or turned 70 years old. And the lesson today was, for instance, to learn body rotation. That means I roll the ball on the ground with like an underarm toss towards her, and what she had to do is shuffle laterally in that horse stance, shuffle, 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 and get the ball that I threw at her, rolling on the ground to get it between past her legs. It's called these. I have names for the games. Say roll rallies, where we use a racket. The girl has one racket in her hand, and I have a racket in my hand, and we are in a sideways position. That means my body is facing sideways like this, and what I do is basically I strike the ball with the racket and make it roll down the line towards her. And we're in a separated distance, say 10 meters apart or 6 foot apart. It can be depending. The closer you are, the harder it gets, because for kids, they don't have control yet. They might just want to strike hard just to show off, or maybe they're too stiff because their elbows are tucked in due to the fact that they're eating the wrong foods. So with kids, what I train them is to become body aware with hand-eye coordination drills. With only a simple thing, you only need a tennis ball or a couple more, and you roll them, and they start to shuffle and get the ball between the legs. This helps them for leg drive, for instance, and to be in that athletic stance, not too upright. This other game that I was telling you about, roll rallies, that we hit the ball down the line with a racket in a sideways position. So I have to be like bending my knees a little and strike the ball to her, and she strikes it back at me. If it's going too fast to her, she can stop the ball with a racket, backswing, and hit forward to me. So that's depending on the velocity. So here we work on with timing, with body position, a beginner stance, which is a closed stance. This is open, this is closed, and my feet are facing sideways now, and my chest is facing sideways. What does this allow me to do? It allows me to swing my arms like this. See, this you use in golf, this you use in hockey, this you use in any sport where you have to toss a ball. And if I align my stance double shoulder width apart, I'm able to rotate more and I can spin more in my own axis. That means I get leg drive from the ground up, which is kinetic chain energy. So yeah, with kids we go slow, we go simple, yeah, and we use a heavier ball with less bounce to feel the heaviness, not gravity, but the heaviness of the ball. It's palpable, but kids need to touch things for developing their motoric senses, for instance, because they don't get that in school, or maybe it's not enough. In school, it's too basic. While I align people and correct them in their posture and know exactly what's going on. Why? Because the position they're at and the way their elbows are tucked in, things don't help. So rotation in tennis is I developed this system to build up rallies Then the other system is yoga, which I use psychogymnastics in the beginning, which are dynamic exercises, mobility exercises to unlock the hips, to open the shoulders, all these drills prior doing something heavy or prior doing yoga or something else, or going before running. I can teach you many, I teach many exercises. So it's mobility, it's dynamic stretching, because in the mornings you do the yang exercises, which are active exercises, and before bedtime you do passive exercises, which is the yin yoga or yin exercises, which make you relax more. Yeah, in the mornings after sleeping, you wake up and it's better to mobilize your body immediately than just to wake up, drink coffee and go to work.
Right.
Yeah, that's just you just harvesting more trauma into your body parts according to your sun sign problems, which is related to the cell salt Santos talks about.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so
Do you have a website?
besides that, I am a yoga instructor. I have over 15 years of experience in yoga, and I'm experienced in breathing techniques and meditation also. Uh, any ab exercise you need, or you want to develop strong abs or a strong muscular back without having to go to the gym with mainly your body weight or with gear. Yes, I train that too. I am an expert in what is HIIT training. HIIT training is high intensity training. There I have a penalty box that I use a lot, which is a grid and a hurdle. And with this, I can prepare football teams in 15 minutes to warm them up heavily, so the entire body is active, and also involving plyometric movements, agility for speed, hurdle jumps for developing vertical jump power, and lateral power. Power jumps, for instance, are in it. Then I have the core and ab method. How do you say? Core cardio, sorry. It's core and cardio, moves, drills, combination exercises that are all animal influenced exercises, dynamically done and not only passive like it's done in yoga or hatha yoga or vinyasa flow, which is the new way of yoga, you know. I mean, it's all about listening to the body, but you can end up from a downward dog into, say, cobra. From cobra, I come back into downward dog. I can cross my foot, crossing my foot across my chest. Then I'm in a kind of in a side plank position. Many things you can do, but it's when you unlock your body and your potential, then you start discovering what you can do with your elbows and why the elbows are made that way. Because when you're in a plank position, a low plank position, the elbows are meant to stack you over your shoulders. Why? Because I explained the energy before, how that happens. There are joints in the body that you learn in yoga anatomy, and then you download the information. The information is there for you to make it useful and understand why can you do things without much effort. It's depending on how you breathe and how you nourish yourself and how you are physically built. But any sport helps, even a run or a walk or standing up for a minute while you work. That's already a beginner steps.
Okay.
But
Where can they I'll put everything down in the link, but you do have the social media. Is there somewhere like if somebody wanted to reach out for more information, do you have?
Yeah, I don't have a website. Maybe there you can help me out in the future because I would like to know this more about the landing pages or what are the more useful tools
I can help. Yeah, I can help you
to
out.
show all these things. Then it has taken me a lot of time to discover things that I've gone through and experiment myself. I've been going through also injuries, of course, but you climb up the mountain, survive, and then you're back to even a better shape than you were before. But
Right.
why these injuries and ailments is because you're releasing traumas from foods you might have eaten in the past and foods that have been casted with spells, yeah, um, witchcrafts, you name it. It exists because it's energy.
That's true.
So, like there is good, there is evil, and the battle is against spiritual entities and entities that are also within your body. And these go away, and when these fade away, then your thoughts fade and they get simply simplified and more sharp, and you start to become the real deal, the real semi-god, or the way it's been exposed for us here on earth. So a website I don't have. I do have an Instagram page, which is maybe the social media page where I show some drills, and I might have to organize it better. But yeah, I have some reels there where you have evidence of how athletic you can become, and you don't have to be a pro or anything like that, but you can become a pro when you believe in yourself and think big, because that's what you have been meant to be here on this plane and of inertia. And because you're a plane of inertia already, you're a toroidal field, so anything is achievable when it's about being positive, and animal spirits, they start to help you. Burning ancestral money helps also, grounding, like I said, and all this. So how to cast out all this information, it's rich, and it's taken me some time, but yeah, I have to think of a method also
Right.
of doing this more online. So I've done Zoom meetings to expats, to the Peace Corps, with mobility drills, because these people were in lockdown and they were in the home, working from their computers and things. So I had over 40 folks on Zoom, and I'm the instructor. So I'm basically looking at what people are doing and already know what his sun sign might be, and the problem of the postural, the facial features. That's where I can correct people once they tell me what kind of ailments they have. Then
Right.
I can find programs or breathing methods or exercises that can help unblock certain uh, things. I can help a lot with the Sebi diet because I've been with this for over 5 years now. I've cooked Sebi and fruitarian pathways as well. They're all in there: how to cook or not to cook your food, which foods should be cooked, which foods shouldn't be cooked, which foods you should eat raw, which foods you should eat raw, but you other foods that you think you should be eating raw, but you shouldn't. Yeah. These informations I have because then it exemplifies it, and it comes out in my body the way I look. Yeah. So you are what you eat.
No, absolutely.
Which ingredients are good, which aren't, which are really alkaline, which aren't alkaline, how combining also doshas, Ayurveda, spices that are cooling, spices that are heating, producing too much mucus. Yeah, with nutrition, I'm big with that as well. cooking the Sebi way and the simple way. Now it's like do more, eat less.
That's it. And
So yeah, my account on Instagram I have. That's where I post many things. It's Spacer79 at in Instagram. So at Spacer79. And yeah, if people have questions and this and that, then maybe you can help me out in
yeah,
finding
definitely.
ways of how to transmit this more
Absolutely.
out there.
No, and I appreciate everything. I know we're coming up on the hour here. I don't want to take up too much of your time. But yeah, I'll leave that link on the bottom so if people want to reach out if they have more questions. Like you said, if you need help more with the online, I can help you with that. We'll have a conversation. But I'd love to have you back on again to kind of specifically talk about that because that's something that I'm learning and transitioning more and more into is the Dr. Sebi alkaline diet.
Yeah,
I would love to have just one podcast, just you just kind of giving your truth and kind of some instructions and some guidelines because I
yeah.
think that's powerful. You know, that's where everything starts. So no, I want to thank you, brother, man. Seriously,
Yeah, man. So yeah, basically to wrap this up, I would just put everything in one circle or toroidal field. It's just basically syncretism or Neoplatonic lifestyle, you know. Why Neoplatonic lifestyle? Because you can incorporate any thing, but it has to be combined. You should not just be doing yoga. You need to combine yoga with weightlifting and other techniques in order to become the athlete you want to be, or to be at least during your daily tasks in life to feel energized and not feeling sleepy at all, but active. You activate the lymphatic system through the process. That's where you feel this energy flowing, and yeah, it's combined with the nutrition. This Neoplatonic lifestyle is nutrition. It's breathing. It's stretching. It's all, of course, also thinking. Chess, for instance, is a great thing. Sports, and yeah, like what you do, you can amplify it 100 times more than what you think. So don't think you just are stuck in a level. The learning curve will always go up. That means you have a cross, you have x here, and you have epsilon here, and you draw the hyperbola or the sine wave. Yeah, the same way does the body work, and the same way is everything you do in this Neoplatonic lifestyle. That it has astrology, it has alchemy, it has nutrition, yoga. It's basically what we do during the day. It's all in there. It's just that you need to unlock the secrets and and tap into the right energy according to your sun sign and the path of where your moon is, and then follow guidelines to that help you. Yeah.
perfect, brother. Well, thank you once again. Like I said, I want to have you back on to do kind of like the Dr. Sebi segment, but yeah, studio audience, man, I appreciate you guys watching out there. Like I said, I'm gonna leave his link there for his Instagram, so if you want to reach out to him, if you have any questions, you know that's the way to contact him. But I want to thank everybody who's watching. Thank you once again, Sebastian. Gracias a todos for coming on and sharing some your journey, some truth, and some wisdom, some knowledge, and you know we'll see you guys on the next podcast. Love you guys.
All right, brother. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me. It's actually my first time in a live show like this via Zoom or a podcast. So I'm glad to that you share me the once it's out, then to share me the the podcast or
No,
wherever you're going to broadcast this out to.
no, absolutely. But once I finish editing it, I'll send you a copy and you can do what you will. No, you'll have a copy as well.
Awesome,
Absolutely.
awesome, man. So yeah, again, I come up with more things. I mean, this can last forever because when
Yeah,
two
absolutely.
souls are together or more and start talking about the things of God, because now we are like little kids, conversating about things you would have never imagined talking, and you can laugh about this. It's funny for me because you are like that little kid, and we are like these little kids, and then time becomes just um, pointless and senseless, and it becomes eternal because what this is doing is creating uh, expanding vibes and killing all the viruses out there, you know. So with only words, because words have power and good intentions to teach others to value themselves and to ascend, definitely is a lifetime value proposition for for life. So yeah, that's the journey, man. And yeah, let's keep in touch again, brother.
No, absolutely, brother. We will.
All right, man. We're good.
Yeah, yeah, we're good. I stopped the recording.
All
Um,
right.
but yeah, bro, I appreciate it, man. Like I said, like,
Hope it was productive.
oh, brother, you touched on so many things, man. Like, that's why I do these platforms, bro. It's not really for me to speak, but when I find somebody who's speaking truth, I just want you to come out because like when you talk about the things that you're studying and the things that you're doing, when you're able to verbalize it, you're actually working on that as well. You begin to
Yeah.
you understand what I'm saying? So
Yeah, it's a good lesson because you learn from, like, you get improvements after with your vocabulary
right.
and things like that. So it's pretty cool. I thank you for the opportunity, and yeah, man, we'll keep in touch.
You did amazing, Papa, and that's what I'll do. Like I said, it takes a few to download, but then like I'll just do a quick little edit and I'll send you a copy, and we'll definitely keep in touch, brother. And
Right on. No, and I mean, in Instagram and all this, I'm following you, and I would like to know more about the mushrooms, man, and what's this thing all about? I mean,
yeah, if you have some time, I can talk on it real quickly.
you have time now, or
Oh, absolutely. Do you have
because
time?
I'm a little thirsty and wanted to roll a one, so maybe we can tap in like 15 minutes.
Yeah, go ahead, do what you got to do, and I'll come back and we'll talk about it.
All right, cool. All right, see you in a bit.